Hello YouTube, my name is Paul. Hope you're all keeping well. Welcome back to a pickup video. 3 videos in 10 days. What's gotten into me? Quite enjoying doing these videos again, to be completely honest. A varied mix of pickups ranging from the Atari through to the Mega Drive, including 3 very hard to get magazines that I've been after for ages. Very rarely come up anywhere, and all of a sudden they appeared in this online store at a relatively cheap price. I'll go into a bit more detail a bit later on. But yeah, still picking up games all over the place. Nothing changes there, does it really? It's just struggling to store them. I have got a couple of ideas in my mind that I would like to explore over the sort of coming few months, just to try and get rid of some of these bigger boxed items from the room, which if you think about the cabinets, and I've got probably 3 or 4 cabinets full of collector's editions. I've got huge ones there like The Witcher 2, Crisis 2, they're humongous collector's editions. It's just unfortunately they're not ideal to store. Don't know what made me think I'd go for collector's editions over standard releases on the PS3, but there must have been a method in my madness. Unfortunately, yes, they took a lot of room. I remember getting a boxed Rock Band through the door. It must have been like humongous. It took up about half the floor, so I got rid of it straight away. It's cheap as chips, but I can see why now. It just take up so much space. So yeah, the Atari games, I'm still really enjoying picking those up, because generally they are cheap and cheerful. I wouldn't say they come up in abundance anymore, to be fair. And trying to find them in good condition as well is quite difficult. So I'm always swapping games out if I see better versions of them for sale. It's still one of those systems that you can find bundles at decent prices. I was trying to think in my head, I've got 25% of all the library now on the PAL set, which I think is just under 400. Yeah, slightly under 400 games in the PAL regions, which is considerably smaller than the USA collection. Yeah, most of these games haven't cost a lot of money. I've not spent over £100 on one single Atari game. I've probably spent over £50 maybe 3 or 4 times. But generally most of the games I have probably been less than 10 quid. But yeah, sign of the times, isn't it, for other systems. But yeah, the first 25% on the Atari I find relatively easy to find, to be fair. The next 25% would be probably about 10 times more difficult, and so on and so forth. But yeah, my list now is down to 5 games on the Atari. A couple of Telesys games, a couple of Tiger Vision games, and a Atari game? No, an Activision game. So yeah, I've pretty much got what I want on the Atari, which is good. But I will not turn down anything that comes up at a good price. So the first game I've got is a variant. Now, there are a few games I want to get the variant covers for, but some are better than the ones I've got. So I'll get the variant cover and sell the one I like the least. This is Mousetrap. There's no footage for this because I put this up a little while ago. Recommendation by Cinny Steve. But this looks a hell of a lot better than the copy I got. The one I got is pretty plain. Just literally like red box with a load of black lines on it with a very small illustration. That looks so arcadey, doesn't it? I can imagine this arcade game having that same artwork on it. Never seen it before, but I should look it up really. But I'm amazed how many games came out by CBS Electronics that had different cover variants. I'm pretty sure there's a different cover in France as well, whereas this is a UK release of it. But yeah, really pleased to have it. This wasn't a lot of money. I wouldn't have picked it up otherwise. It might have been between 10 and 15 quid. In nice condition and complete. So yeah, this will literally just be a swap out for the one I've already got. The next 2 came from the same seller. Literally received them yesterday. So yeah, my most latest pickups. They're both arcade conversions. One was on my list, one wasn't. But I do like the artwork on this one. Hence why I picked it up. That game is called Venture. Another CBS game. Pretty cool, eh? Never played the arcade game before. Gameplay wise, it reminded me a hell of a lot of a cross between games like Berserk. In some ways it reminded me of Adventure as well. Kind of going around a maze and going into these rooms. You go into the rooms, you meet some baddies, pick up some treasure, pick up some other items. Some of them have got moving walls as well. You've got to go and snatch the item before you get crushed. All that sort of stuff. I thought it looked quite good, to be fair. I can imagine getting quite bored of it quite quick. But yeah, that's Venture. Again, lovely piece of artwork. Probably why I bought it, to be fair. More than the actual gameplay itself. At a reasonable price. I think CBS did release quite a few games, didn't they? Including Donkey Kong, which I would like an upgrade for my Donkey Kong box, because it's not very good. Now, the next one was actually on my list. A game that spawned many clones over the years. An arcade cabinet by Universal. That is Mr. Do. Again, a nice, lovely arcade look and feel to the box. Yeah. But yeah, it's a... I'm pleased to finally get this one. This one cost me a little bit more. This was like 35 quid. The guy knocked it down from 40. A little bit of damage on the back there, unfortunately, where it's probably just been crushed a bit. But generally nice condition. Yet another variant. There's so many variants like this on the Atari. There is one, I'm pretty sure, either the writing's coloured in, or the writing on the cartridge is coloured in. So I think the cartridge is quite plain. But again, I played this back in the day on the Atari. Was it Dig Dug? Which would have been a clone of this. Played Tutti Frutti on the Commodore 16. That was really good rendition of this, really. But yeah, one of those games you pick up the fruit, drop the apples on the baddie's head. Haven't really played it for any period of time. Yeah, 1983 release, but yeah, really pleased to have that one. But yeah, at least we've just 5 games now to find on my Atari list, which is cool. Doesn't mean I'll probably stop collecting them though, because I do really enjoy collecting for the Atari. Right, I forgot I've got an FM Towns game as well to show you. Next up is, I've got some more C64 games to show you. I'll save them for a different video. But this is part of the System 3 collection, which is System 3 and Thalamus are the two publishers I'm trying to get games for on the Atari, on the C64. First one being a compilation called Premiere, or Premiere. There's 2 compilations like this, one in the black box I showed you a little while back. This was about 15 quid. Not a bad price really when you consider what games are on the compilation. Comes with a load of manuals. Seems like there's pretty much a manual for every game, but it's not. Just a manual for the whole compilation. Thick as hell. System 3 catalogue and a few other bits and bobs. And the cassettes I've not even taken out of the paper wrapping yet. But yeah, £15. So I think I offered the guy 15 quid. He accepted it, which was quite cool. I did offer him 10. I think he had that for like 20 or something like that. But yeah, games on it like Last Ninja 2, Myth, History in the Making, International Karate, Flimbo's Quest, and Dominator. Now Dominator is the game you'll see the footage for. A very polished shoot 'em up, but as I find with most Commodore 64 shoot 'em ups that I've played, it's balls hard. But yeah, it does look really good. But yeah, lovely compilation to get. So there's that one, and there's the one that's black, which I can't remember what games are on that one, but that's another really good compilation to pick up. So that's it for the C64, just the one at the moment. But like I said, I have got more to show at some point. Unfortunately, there's no Amstrad at all. Not picked up any Amstrad games outside of Ocean Software for a long time on the Amstrad. So unfortunately, you guys have got nothing to show you for that. Because what I have got is some specky. Some good specky games here, actually. One I thought I had. One I had and sold, and one I didn't know came out in the specky. So yeah, Spectrum stuff just keeps coming in. Yeah, so many great games on that computer, isn't there? I mean, I'm approaching nearly 1,000 titles, and it just feels like there's so many more. Do you know what I mean? But I don't want a load more. So I'm literally, my list for the Spectrum I think is down to about 55 games for different publishing houses like Domark, Gremlin, US Gold. The remaining hit squads, one Ocean title left to find. But yeah, it's not a lot of specky left to get, to be fair. So the first one is Dandare, which I could have sworn I've got this already. It turns out on my spreadsheet I've got it on the Ricochet label. Not quite sure what's going on with the old corners being chopped there, to be fair. I don't know what that's all about. A game I never really got the hang of. I never had the instructions. I can get down to the level below, which you probably see me drop down in the video. And I don't know how to use the lifts. I'm assuming they're lifts. But yeah, I need to read the instructions. But in here as well, which I thought was great, which I didn't realise came with this game, is a comic strip. Very small one. So I don't think I've ever seen this before. Looks pretty cool. Yeah, really pleased to have that. Now this came as part of a bundle. I can't remember why I bought the bundle. I'm sure there's something in the bundle that I wanted that isn't in this video. But I kept this and I kept 2 other titles as well. But yeah, that's down there. Cool, I didn't realise I didn't have this. There's 2 others, there's the second and third one. Which also I don't have. I was quite surprised. Right, next up, a game I've been after for the Gremlin label. I've had this before and sold it. This one cost me about 50 quid though. It's not worth 50 quid. But you very rarely see it. And that's Switchblade. There is one that's got GBH emblazoned along the bottom. There's also a little plastic case version for GBH as well, which both you just don't see very often. Decent conversion. It's all in monochrome. It moves along okay. It feels like there's lots missing from the ST version, not just the colour obviously, but it feels like there's bits within the game missing, like baddies. There's not as many. And it's quite tricky to see the broken bricks because of the colour scheme. So yeah, it's not bad though. Again, the Gremlin collection is a tough one to go for. There's about 4 or 5 really difficult to find titles. So it probably is equally as difficult to collect for, if not slightly more difficult than the Ocean collection, because there's a couple of right sods to find. But yeah, pleased to have that though. It did cost me more than I wanted to pay. I'm pretty sure I sold a copy of this a couple of years ago for about 25 quid, in much nicer condition as well. Next up is a game I didn't expect to have a specky release. Quite a late one in 1990, and that's Rick Dangerous 2. Again, this came up as a buy it now for like 15 quid. So I couldn't say no because it's in lovely condition. And to be fair, it looks really, really good. I was pleasantly surprised how this game looked and sounded on the ZX Spectrum. Comes with all its bump, including its lovely, again, comic strip. Pretty cool, isn't it? Love it when it comes with all this gear. Yeah, this was, like I say, £15. The game itself looks fantastic on the Spectrum. Plays really well. Bit of colour clash. Sometimes you can't really see Rick very well. But the game itself, though, is very similar in playability to, say, the 16-bit variants. I was very, very surprised and pleased to see the Specky handle that game. But yeah, again, another one of those games that I would not have normally picked up, but to be fair, I didn't realise it even existed. Right. It's a bit of 16-bit games now. First up we got... trying to think where I put my Amiga stuff. You just hate that. The first game I'm going to show you was an ST game. I would like the Amiga version of this. It's not a very good game though. It's quite a desirable title in the fact that it's quite difficult to find. The artwork's pretty cool in the game, but the game itself, I've got no idea what to do. And the music by Jerome Tell is fantastic on both the Amiga and the Atari ST. That game is Astaroth, the Angel of Death. Yeah, really pleased to have this. This was quite cheap actually, about 15 quid I think. I don't think it was any more than 20 quid, but the Amiga one, people asked about 40-50 quid for it. But I bought it predominantly because of the soundtrack more than the game. Because when I made that video, the 1989 best soundtracks on the Amiga, someone did mention why I don't have this in that listing. So yeah, I thought, I'm quite intrigued now. I'm going to hear that tune. And to be fair, it's bloody good. So what I'll probably do is put this at some point in the video, the music. You can have a good old listen. But yeah, the game itself, gameplay wise, I haven't got a clue what I'm doing with it. I haven't read the instructions. It seems quite slow and cumbersome, but it's got some quite weird and wonderful artwork. Right, Amiga. For the life of me, I can't think of the 3 games I did on the Amiga, which is a pain in the arse. But yeah. I'll show you these 2 for a second whilst I kind of peruse for the 3rd game, which I can't find anywhere, which is a pain in the bloody arse. But yeah, it's always like that, isn't it? You think you're doing well, and you flipping forget something. Oh, of course, yeah, I've got it. I know what it is now. Right, first up is a game again. I bought because of the recommendation of the music, and that is a game called Rings of Medusa. This was about 20-25 quid, I think. I got this quite recently. Again, I haven't read the instructions to play this. I've got no idea what it's even about. It looks quite adventure-y. Yeah, I've got no idea what to do. But again, I got it for the music more than anything else. I do like the old sticker on the disc, even though it's fallen off. It's got quite a metallic-y look. Kind of like gold leaf effect, I suppose. But yeah, the game itself, couldn't tell you anything about it whatsoever. Unlikely to ever play it, to be fair. Very much an impulse buy. Still do those. Let's still do them. Next up is a game I've been after for ages. And that is Gauntlet 3, The Final Quest. Again, this was quite cheap. This came up about 20 quid by now. Couldn't say no to that, because this game can go for about 50 quid. Again, quite a desirable game. Never really played it back in the day, but I'll tell you what, I quite like it. It's quite an enjoyable little 3D isometric viewed version of the original game, really. Graphics are lovely. The music by one of the Folin brothers is absolutely sensational. I think it's another Software Creations game. They did some really good games, didn't they? Especially games like Sly Spy, Ghouls and Ghosts. What else did they make? They made loads of games for different publishers back in the day. But yeah, a very polished game this is. I've got to be honest, I was really chuffed to pick it up for 20 quid. There she is, little pup. Come to cause a bit of mischief, isn't you? No, don't eat it. Good girl. Off you go. Gonna eat something else. Right, next up. Figured out what it is I got. Now I've got 2 copies of this. I can't seem to find the other copy. I bought the 1200 specific version of this game. In fact, I've got... This is the 1200 specific. One is from the Chaos Pack. One is a standalone release for the 1200. Which for the life of me, I can't find where I put that. And that's the Chaos Engine. This I got part of a bundle, a classic game. I've got it on a CD32. That's probably why I never bought it on floppy disk. I still would like the 500 version, which I've had before. Then sold it, regrettably. I was trying to find it in really nice condition. That's the challenge. Because the box is black, unfortunately, it does show up all the marks. Now, this is the one that doesn't come with all those lovely cards, character cards, which they do come with the other version I've got. For the life of me, I haven't got a clue where I bloody put it. To be fair, don't I just piss you off? There's just so much stuff here. No idea where it is, but yeah, I've got the standalone version, which unfortunately is not quite in the same condition as that. It is a bit scuffed. That was 20 quid. This was part of a bundle, so it probably cost me nothing in the end. But yeah, I would still like the standalone version. I still would like the 1200 standalone version as well. Put it in the collection. But yeah, it needs no introduction, that game. It's a brilliant game, brilliant graphics. Just an Amiga staple, isn't it? With great music to boot. Whilst I'm on the Amiga, I might show you these magazines quick. So 3 magazines that I picked up for the CD32. Now, CD32 game is a really tough magazine set to collect for, because not many of them sold, as you would imagine. Every single one of those came with a demo CD, and every now and then they'd release a special, and on a special they would have a full price game. So Quick the Thunder Rabbit, Vital Light would be another one, and Lamborghini American Challenge. Now, in my mind, I always thought there was 4 of them. I can picture one that's got a green cover. Now, I may have slept and dreamt that, but these 3 here all came up on retrogames.co.uk, who are quite notorious for their pricing. What scared me about this as well, the postman left this outside in a pissing rain, so I pray to God that whoever sent this sent it in some kind of protective packaging. And luckily they did. But yeah, blimey, I'm really pleased to have these. they probably cost me an average about 11 quid each. Without the games, which is not a problem because I've got the games already. Ah. Maybe there's a variant then. That's the green one I'm thinking of. Quick the Thunder Rabbit, look. Now I'll show you that in a minute because it's not green. So maybe I wasn't dreaming. Yeah, CD32 Special. But yeah, these are very tough to find. Very rarely come up on eBay. Or anywhere else for that matter. But yeah, a couple of them were 9 quid each and one was 14, 15 quid. So very pleased to finally have these in the set. So I have a full set of CD32 Gamer. But yeah, there's the other one, Quick the Thunder Rabbit. So yeah, those games weren't released standalone. Well, one of them was, but two of them weren't. Very thin magazine, as you would expect. But no, really pleased to have these. So it does complete, as far as I'm aware, unless there's 4 of them, it completes the full set of these magazines. And to be fair, it's very difficult to complete any full set of Amiga magazines because there's tons of them, or they're very obscure. Bloody hell. And then the last one is the Vital Light one. So yeah, really cool to have them. Back of the games look like that. Just mentioned Paragon Publishing in Bournemouth. But yeah, look at that. Really pleased to have those. But I'm always on the lookout for magazines, especially for the Amiga. They just don't come up very often, not the ones I need. And most of the ones I need are like the ones at the arse end of their life. Yeah, pleased to have them. Luckily the guy protected them, otherwise they'd have been paper mache. But yeah, very pleased with those. Another random game to throw in is a game for the FM Towns. This was quite a relatively cheap one. I picked up about half a dozen this year for the Towns, which I'll show in a separate video. This game here was 20 quid. It probably costs almost as much in post. That's Afterburner. Probably one of the better home conversions I've played. But yeah, again, it's in good condition. It looks like it's got a bit of water damage. It's a bit... Yeah, the old inlay's a little bit crinkly. Probably see it in the light. This looks cool though. You like that? But yeah, pleased to have this. Yeah, it's not a bad conversion, to be fair. Can't find myself today. And then finally, some Mega Drive. We all like Mega Drive games, don't we? 3 games here that I've picked up. Some of them I've had for a while. 1 or 2 I've had for a while. 1 or 2 are quite recent additions. So the first one is Andretti Racing. Listed as rare on Retro Collect. It's a little git to find it, but it's not that rare. Again, this was about between 10 and 15 quid. Used to have this and sold it. So I think I've got about 11 games left now to repurchase to have what I had before. Yeah. Don't take long, does it, to build up a Mega Drive collection? You forget how many Mega Drive games you buy. Some of these games are quite relatively cheap, aren't they? A bit like the Atari. Some games are cheap and some games are flipping ridiculous. So pleased to have that. Decent little driving game. Nothing to shout about that. I played it for probably about half an hour. Yeah, very average, very bland. I still much prefer Super Monaco Grand Prix compared to that, to be fair. But yeah, quite a late release. I think they came out in '94. So next up, we've got a game that I picked up again from retrogames.co.uk. This was 40 quid, but I bought it because of the condition. Because these games, unfortunately, the condition can be quite poor. That's Star Control. I had this again as well a few years ago, before letting it go. I think I had most of them. The only ones I didn't have in the cardboard variant was the baseball games. Not a fan of baseball. But yeah, generally okay. I'm not sure if this came with anything else besides the instructions, the inlay and the cart. I know some of them came with like little cards, which were pretty cool. But yeah, again, a game that I've never played before. I played it for a little bit in terms of like a bit of a shoot 'em up asteroidy looking thing, which to be fair didn't look particularly great. Ah, it might be missing a poster. Oh no, offer inside. Anyway, pleased to have that. I didn't realise I got an Amiga release as well. Not one I want, but it's interesting to find out these things. Yeah, pleased with the condition of this game. One of the nicer box games I've got. I'm quite fortunate there that most of the games like this I've got are in nice condition. Like Double Dragon and Onslaught and stuff like that. And last but not least, there's a game, again, I've used to have. A cartoon series I never watched. The case I need to possibly replace. Bit of damage on it. And that's Beavis and Butthead. But yeah. The game itself doesn't seem that good, to be honest. Good demonstration of what it's like chasing around a woman and what could potentially happen to you if you piss her off. But yeah, not really played it for more than about 10 minutes. Again, in decent condition. As you can see, this one again, I can't remember what I paid for this. It might have been around 25, 30 quid, I think. I could be completely wrong. Again, it's an okay game. Not one that I would love to play, but it's one that I got back that I shouldn't have sold before. That's the problem, innit? You sell these things to raise some money, but at some point you want them back. Sometimes more expensively and sometimes works out okay. But that's it. That is it for my pickups for this particular video. Hope you enjoyed those. Most of the games there, most people would have heard of. Most of them are quite run-of-the-mill games, really. But yeah, I've still got more pickup videos. So I've definitely got a Grail one I want to put out around Christmas time. Just kind of the big hitters I've got this year, really, which I haven't shown off. I've got some Amstrad ones, Amiga, FM Towns. I think predominantly those three machines, really, that the games I've got before. Another Ocean video, again some Grails in that, even a game that was believed not to have been released. I was chuffed to find that. Still need to get it preserved though. I must do that ASAP. But yeah, a couple to finish off certain sets within certain collections of Ocean. But yeah, no, I've had some cracking pickups this year, gotta say, in amongst the sort of more droll stuff really. But yeah, apart from that, that is definitely it. Look forward to doing the Atari videos. I can't wait to do those. It'd be nice to sit down and actually play some of those games. So yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And take care of yourselves. Bye for now.